It was the dead of night. March 15th, 2024. When the phone shattered the silence in my quiet Michigan home. The state trooper's voice was flat, almost mechanical. Mr. Harper, we need you to identify a body. My son, Daniel, 28, a Bronze Star veteran from 3 tours in Iraq, had put a bullet in his head in the garage of the house he'd bought with his combat pay. I drove there in a fog, the kind that numbs you before the pain hits. When I saw him, sprawled cold on the concrete floor, all I could think was how he'd survived IED blasts in the desert, only to be broken by the woman he called his wife. Laura Bennett, his loving spouse, stood there in the driveway, playing the shocked widow, her eyes dry behind those expensive sunglasses. But I knew. I'd heard the desperation in Daniel's voice 2 weeks earlier. A slurred 3 a.m. call, Dad. She's taking it all, the accounts. My VA checks. She locked me out of everything. I told him to sleep it off. Talk it out. That was my last chance to save him. And I blew it. The guilt clawed at me like a living thing, twisting deeper every time I looked at his photo on the mantel. The funeral came a week later. A crisp spring day at the Veterans Cemetery overlooking Lake Superior. Laura accepted hugs and whispers of sympathy, her black dress hugging her figure like she was at a cocktail party. I stood graveside, watching the flag-draped coffin lower into the earth. My fists clenched. She had the nerve to pat my arm afterward. Samuel, we have to move on for the living. The living meaning her, and the $1.2 million life insurance payout she'd snagged as beneficiary. Daniel had named her before the abuse started, back when he thought she was his rock. But I'd seen the cracks. As a retired FBI agent with 25 years in financial crimes, I'd hunted predators who hid behind smiles and spreadsheets. Laura was one of them. But I played dumb, letting the grief mask my suspicion. Inside, the anger simmered. A slow burn that promised I'd make her pay, not with violence, but with the law I'd wielded like a scalpel for decades. 3 months post-funeral, Laura started circling like a shark smelling blood. The lake house on Superior Shore, Daniel's inheritance from his mom, worth $850,000. No mortgage, became her target. She'd breeze in unannounced, coffee in hand, acting concerned. Sam, this place is too much for one man your age. The taxes alone could bury you $15,000 a year. Let me handle it. You can stay in the spare room. Her words dripped honey. But I saw the venom. Daniel had left me a gift in his Bronze Star box, a hidden 4-page note. The real one. Not the curt scribble the cops found. She's draining me dry. Dad, it read. Hides my meds when I question the missing money. Tells me I'm paranoid from the PTSD. No one will believe a vet like me over her. It detailed the isolation, the gaslighting, the thefts from his disability fund. I stashed it in a safe deposit box with bank printouts and VA records, building my case quietly. Revenge wasn't about rage, it was patience. Letting her dig her own grave while I laid the rebar. I feigned frailty. The shattered dad who couldn't read fine print. When she shoved insurance forms at me, I'd squint. This looks tricky. Laura. Maybe a lawyer. She'd scoff. Lawyers cost a fortune. Sam. Trust me, I'm in finance. Remember? She was a high-powered advisor at a firm in Detroit, pulling 6 figures advising retirees on investments. But trust her? The woman who'd turned my son's trauma into a cash cow? I signed the minor docs. The ones that didn't matter. Each one more proof of her coercion. Secretly, I recorded every word with a tiny digital wire from my old FBI contacts, admissible, encrypted, lethal. And I reached out, Special Agent Elena Ruiz, my former partner in white-collar takedowns. and District Attorney Marcus Hale, Daniel's high school buddy turned prosecutor. They saw the pattern: elder abuse extending to veteran exploitation, and agreed to guide me. Laura thought she was preying on a weak old man. She was monologuing to a Fed. By June, her mask cracked. The insurance payout dragged due to irregularities, and Daniel's VA benefits needed my sign-off. She ramped up visits. Papers in tow. Daniel would want his family secure. Sam. Family, her code for herself. The lake house held ghosts. Summers teaching Daniel to sail. Bonfires on the beach. His laughter echoing off the water. Signing it over meant erasing him. But she had leverage. I've got photos. Sam. Daniel drunk. Ranting about conspiracies. The VA might rethink that heroic vet narrative if they saw. She flashed her phone images of him disheveled. Videos of delusions. He accused me of hiding his pills, crazy talk. Except it wasn't. VA logs showed her picking up his antidepressants. Never noted as dispensed. I kept calm. What truth are you hiding? She leaned in. Voice low. Sign the deed and power of attorney. Or I drag his name through the mud. Social media blasts about the alcoholic vet who abused his wife. The threat hit like a gut punch. But I nodded. Give me till Daniel's birthday. November 15th. We'll settle at his memorial. She smirked. Victorious. Inside, my trap tightened. September brought the storm. Laura stormed in. Folders slamming the table. Power of attorney, sign it now. Sam. You're too old for this upkeep. At 62. My pension covered it fine. But she assumed poverty. Daniel trusted me with his finances. You should too. Trusted? She'd siphoned $45,000 from his accounts. Per the statements he'd mailed me before dying. I probed, found some of Daniel's papers, withdrawals he didn't make. Her eyes flickered. He was confused. PTSD messing with his head. Then, the slip. I handled his meds for his own good. He couldn't remember doses. Bingo, admission on tape. She pushed, refuse. And everyone learns the real Daniel, paranoid. Violent accusations. The pain of her rewriting his legacy fueled me. She left with a deadline, November 15th. Or lose it all. After. I replayed the tape for Ruiz and Hale. We've got extortion, Hale said. The noose was ready. October deepened the shadows. Laura fretted over the memorial. Keep it small, no military buddies stirring up questions. But I'd invited them. Sergeant Jake Torres from Daniel's unit in Texas. Corporal Mia Lee from Cali. They knew the real Daniel strong. Not delusional. Laura planned to brief them, explain his decline so they don't misremember. Control freak. On tape. She ranted. Those vets won't get how sick he was drinking. False theft claims. I countered, what if they were true? Her laugh, true? I earn $110,000 advising clients. Why steal from a broken vet? The confession piled up. Ruiz confirmed, this is federal, wire fraud. Abuse of a vulnerable adult. Hale added, link it to Daniel's death. And it's manslaughter territory. The memorial loomed. Her stage for my surrender. Mine for her fall. November 15th. 2024, Daniel's would-be 29th birthday. The community hall by Lake Superior buzzed with 25 guests. Laura orchestrated it all. Her speech ready to paint Daniel as a tragic case. But Torres and Lee arrived. Badges gleaming. Ruiz posed as a cousin, Hale as a friend. Dr. Emily Grant. Daniel's VA shrink. Lurked in back. Laura spoke. Daniel was a hero. But war broke him, PTSD. Booze. Wild accusations against those helping. Torres rose, ma'am. That ain't Daniel. He tracked every penny in the field. Lee chimed. He called me weeks before, scared. But lucid about missing funds. Grant added, Records show med tampering. Laura's facade shattered. This is my husband's memorial. I stood. No. My son's. And it's time for truth. I revealed the folder. $45,000 stolen. Meds withheld. Isolation. Gasps. Then the wire. Her voice echoed threats. Admissions. You used power of attorney to access his records post-death? Her taped laugh sealed it. Ruiz blocked the door. Laura Bennett. You're under arrest, financial abuse. Fraud. Conspiracy. Cuffs clicked as shock rippled. Daniel's comrades nodded. Justice tasted bitter but real. The silence post-arrest was deafening. Laura whispered, "You're no grieving dad." I leaned in. 25 years FBI financial crimes. I built cases like yours for breakfast. As Ruiz read rights. I played more, her extortion. Med control. She crumbled. He was ill. But logs showed otherwise. Hale announced charges. 18 USC 1341 mail fraud. 1343 wire fraud. Elder abuse. Torres shook his head. You stole from a brother. Grant noted for testimony. Laura's eyes darted. No escape. I read Daniel's note aloud. She hides my pills. Calls me crazy. Sobs racked her. But pity? None. She'd murdered his spirit for greed. As they led her out. Peace flickered, Daniel avenged. But at what cost? My soul scarred. Trust shattered forever. The fallout hit like aftershocks. By evening, feds raided her Detroit home, uncovering 6 more victims, elderly clients she'd bilked for $210,000. Her firm fired her. Stock tanked 35%. News blared. Financial advisor busted at vet memorial. 3 days later. Hale called. She wants a plea. Drop death links for guilty on finance. I refused. Make her face a jury. Trial lasted 5 days. Wires played. Exposing her venom. Jury heard Daniel's voice memo. She's stealing. Hiding meds. Guilty all counts. Sentencing. Judge Alicia Ford thundered. You preyed on a hero's wounds. 11 years federal time. Restitution full. I spoke. You didn't steal cash, you stole his life. Grief didn't break me, it forged me. Laura whispered, sorry, too late. Marshals hauled her away. I felt hollow victory. 6 months on. Ripples spread. Her firm settled $3.8 million class action. Senator Carla Ruiz pushed the Daniel Harper Veteran Safeguard Act, mandatory checks on benefit handlers. Passed bipartisan. Victims emerged. 79-year-old vet lost pension, widow bilked of savings. Charges piled, sentence bumped to 16 years. Grant study on PTSD exploitation trained VA staff. Daniel's unit funded counseling for 52 vets. Thwarting 2 abuses. I turned the lake house into the Harper Justice Haven, free aid for exploited families. Ruiz directs, Hale Clinics pro bono. First case, Army widow's son stealing checks. We wired. Documented. Charged $58,000 recovered. By year's end. 21 cases. $590,000 back. 9 predators jailed. Local PD adopted our model. 0 suicides among clients, prevention's true win. February 2025. Prison visit. Laura. Gaunt in orange, I craved control. She handed 15 pages. My methods used to stop others. Brutal truth, because I could, no one watched. I took it, no forgiveness. But utility. Her words trained our center. Saving dozens. Justice evolved, not just punishment, but shield. 16 months post-arrest. I review cases at that kitchen table. Doc walks evoking Daniel. Hayes texts, your playbook nailed 4 more. 79 families safe. 11 in prison. Boundaries learned, grief empowers. Not weakens. Families earned. Not assumed. Justice prevents. Doesn't just avenge. Skills endure. Daniel's Arlington Grave, SGT. Daniel Harper. Bronze Star. Avenged Son. I update him monthly. Your story saves lives. Son. The fight continues. Predators beware.